Hello everyone, and welcome to the next chapter of our grand Ottoman Empire journey. This time we go into the fires of the Great War. It is the year 1910, and the Ottoman Empire teeters on the edge of collapse. Once the masters of land stretching from the Balkans to Arabia, our empire now carries only the weight of the memory and the burden of decay. For over a century, we have endured defeat, rebellion, and humiliation, both historically and in the previous Victoria II campaign. Our enemies now call us the sick man of Europe, and to be perfectly honest, they're not wrong at all. As with the previous parts of the campaign, the content of this Let's Play was shaped by your decisions. Through your votes, we have chosen a path that I would probably not choose myself. But alas, this is what we will do. First of all, we will restore the Sultan to full power, casting aside the fragile reforms of the constitutionalists. The parliament shall kneel before the throne once more. Second, we will pursue autarky, rejecting the yoke of foreign creditors, banishing European economic influence, and striving to rebuild a self-sufficient sovereign economy. Third, we will not yield to Italy, trying to hold Libya for ourselves, and we will face the Balkan League, hoping to beat them back when they come for us. However, I already say that it won't be easy, and I said that before you voted as well. In fact, it will be a miracle if we survive, and in this introductory episode, I will try to explain why. The in-game situation could not, as we will see in the next part of this video, be more brutal. We start with crippling modifiers that reflects the true financial chaos of the late Ottoman state. In the real world, by the late 19th century, the empire has defaulted on its loans and was forced to accept the Ottoman Public Debt Administration, a European-controlled entity that seized tax revenue and dictated fiscal policy. Railways, ports, tobacco, almost all of it was under foreign control. The Ottomans were sovereign in name only. Now we are choosing to break those chains, but doing so will leave us isolated, underdeveloped, and terrifyingly fragile. And still, the wars are coming. Italy covets Libya, the Balkans are restless, and our neighbors sharpen their knives, knowing that we are weak. And on the horizon looms a war greater than anything the world has ever seen. We have chosen the path of defiance. We will not beg for scraps from European powers. We will not dilute our rule with parliaments and compromise. We will centralize, consolidate, and if needs be, bleed for the dream of a renewed Ottoman Empire. We are not ready. We will not be ready, but we will try. This is the start of our Hearts of Iron 4 Great War mod campaign as the Ottoman Empire, picking up where we left off in Victoria II, and continuing the tale of the empire that refuses to die quietly. Let's go out with a boom. Welcome to the nightmare that is the Ottoman Empire in 1910. Now, I'm gonna start by showing you all the bad things that lay ahead of us so that you understand why I'm not just a naysayer, but we really have a bad starting point. So bad that I would actually probably play any other nation rather than the Ottomans. But hey, that's par for the course. We are doing a grand campaign, and you are going to hear me complain about this one for quite some time. But no, really, this really is not a start that you want to go with, especially on this level of difficulty. I wouldn't mind playing it. No, I would mind. I would mind playing it on any kind of difficulty because, well, let's just start by looking at the economy because that's where all of the problems start. So, when you look at a German Empire in 1910, it has between, let's call this 50 civilian factories and roughly 24 military factories. Russia has about 30 civilian and 20 military according to our intelligence. France is about 22 civilian, let's call 13 military. A secondary power like Kingdom of Italy has about 9 civilian factories and 4 military. Who else could be interesting? UK has about 50 civilian and 14 military. And nations like Sweden, for example, which are, we played Sweden in Great War before, starts with 3 civilian and 1 military. Now, when you look at the Ottomans, we are starting with beautiful 5 civilian factories and 5 military factories. However, of the 5 civilian factories, we have 0 to use because we have all of them. Actually, we would probably have 0 to use even if we had 6. All of them are down to satisfying the consumer goods needed. The reason for this is that we have a civilian economy that gives us a 35% penalty, but we have something called Ottoman Public Debt Administration, which gives us a 64% malus to our civilian factories available. That means that if we start building anything like this, we have no factories. So there is no economic development until we figure out what to do with these maluses. Literally nothing. We can't build a single thing. We might get a couple of factories based on our trade, but as I said, I think these might also be swallowed immediately by the consumer goods because we need 55% of the 10 factories that we have, and I think it's rounded up, so that would be 6. Yeah. We don't have any factories. We're starting with 0 factories. This goes to the fact that, as I mentioned many times before, the Ottomans are collapsing nations. Their foreign debt is currently taking 64% of an extra demand, and we cannot even do anything with it at this point. We cannot repay this or do anything with this. What we can do, there is an entire tree here focusing on economy. It's this one. I put this to a vote, so whether we're either gonna go with an autarky, which is pretty much this part, or whether we're gonna go with an international trade, which is this part. But you guys wanted the autarky, which is, my preferred way to go as well. So we're gonna go with that one. What is gonna happen after 70 days is we're gonna switch to an early mobilization, and then this whole part of the tree gives you additional civilian factories. I think there are some military factories here as well. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3 civilian factories, 4, 5. A lot of infrastructure. There's 4 more here, and there's 4 military factories at the end of this chain. So we're gonna get a decent amount of factories, but again, with the Ottoman debt, there really is not much that we can do. I'm starting with this because I would really like many of you to voice your opinion on how we can handle this. The middle part here gives us a couple of options how to deal with the debt. The first one, after we get the strengthening of the national economy, gives us the Ottoman Public Debt Administration, which gives us 150 political power and unlocks the decision paying our debt. Now, paying our debt exchanges for the political power for a reduction of 3%, but unfortunately it is active for 50 days. So if we wanted to use this one to remove the consumer goods factories completely, it will take about 1,000 days to get it to 4% and then additional 100 days. So about 1,100 days, which equals about 3 years of non-stop burning of political power until we can actually get this debt gone, which is insane. It will also cost us about 660 political power to do this. So despite the fact that, there is a way out, this whole time our enemies, especially the one that I fear the most is Russia, which borders us, are just going to use their factories. They're starting with, 5-6 times more factories than we have, and they're going to be building up their economy this whole time while we are going to be struggling here. And of course they got focuses, so it is horrifying. Now, as we're gonna continue, there are also additional things like search for investments, which unlock additional things. There is prioritize economic independence, which unlocks a large debt payment, which I don't know what it does. I never played the Ottomans in this version, and I don't remember previously there was the large payment, and it's not, here visible. I would suspect it costs twice as more and takes twice as more off, maybe. And then there is a couple of additional things. You can default on our debts, which gives you dissolve the public debt administration, meaning that we basically say we're not paying anymore, and it completely removes it from you. However, I have a feeling it's not listed here anywhere. It's just you remove this malus and you are done. But I have a feeling that this is a really bad choice because I would expect the game, if it's at least a little bit realistic, to hit you with a number of sanctions or other steps taken by foreign powers who are going to go after you. Usually when you do this, in our world, the nations jump on any kind of assets you have in their country and they seize it as part of the debt collection. So I'm not 100% sure if there's going to be something like that, but I would bet that there is. Second, the debt actually is a tool that we can use if we are smart about it, because you can start purchasing equipment from Germany or Britain or France, though I don't think, we would need a higher opinion, which we can't. But Germany could give us infantry equipment and howitzers. 100% of German howitzers is actually a pretty decent boon, because for us, or the 3,000 units of equipment, because we're producing 3 per day, meaning that we basically get 1,000 days of worth in just a couple of clicks. So it costs political power. And wait, does it cost political power? I didn't even check, but I think it costs 5 political power, but you get 3,000 units of German equipment, and you increase the debt a little bit. So if we actually default on our debt, this entire chapter is going to disappear, meaning we can no longer purchase any equipment. So I'm not sure that is a wise way to go. It would be much easier for us to manage the debt. There is something, it's called continuous debt payment, which will limit it. So my original plan, why I'm talking about this, was we are going to go here and we're going to go beeline to default on the debt and just get rid of it. Which still, unfortunately, would take 70, 105, 140, 175, and then 70, so 245, and then 35, so to about a year before we can default on the debt. And in the meantime, we are completely just done. Like, unless we keep repaying the debt, we are done. But that's the thing. Like, if we want to get rid of the debt and default on it, it would make sense to not repay a dime and just do whatever else we can in the meantime, and then just remove it completely. But then for this whole year, or relative whole year, you will basically be stuck with nothing. So instead, what I think might be a good choice, but this is where I would really like to hear your opinion, is we just keep repaying, managing the debt, get it to a reasonable level of, say, 10% or something else. Remember, it's not a direct addition, it is a modifier. So it multiplies the actual civilian economy, which we are going to go through lowering by a remobilization and so on and so on. So eventually, like if you get, 10% and you get high stability, you might actually be doing pretty good. And we manage it and we use this to keep getting... I don't think we will need to keep buying guns, because we will focus on guns, but buying the German artillery might be a good way for us to actually supply our units, because we will, especially with the economy that we have, for most of the initial parts, we are going to be 100% dependent on foreign support. So I'm not sure defaulting on the debt is a good idea. Additionally, we can sell Israel, which is something that sounds like a horrible idea, but we basically lose 60% of our debt, just like that, and we get a military access through Israel, which is going to be an independent nation. Now, considering its location within our territory, I don't think it might be such a bad choice to do this at a certain point, but I fear that Israel is gonna be puppeted or is gonna fall under the influence of Great Britain, and they could use it to stage their troops, because I don't think we will be able to actually do anything there. So they could just land their troops there and attack us. Possibly. But on the other hand, we guarantee Israel... I don't know, it's a question, like if this could be used by our enemies to attack us. And then there's something called financial responsibility, which do we need that? Search for investment East trade. Yes, okay, so that one is locked from us because it requires East trade tariffs. So we are locked with these decisions. So any kind of suggestion from your side how we're gonna handle this is is welcome, because what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna focus on these in the beginning, strengthen our national economy. That will lower our default need for consumer goods factories. Oh, actually we go to 25%. I thought it was 30. So you get 35 and no, it is 30. What did I read that wrong? Did I read that wrong? Expected number of factories by consumer goods. Oh yeah, 30. Oh no, my apology. It adds atatism. Consumer goods factories. Oh, that gives us an additional 25% reduction. Alright, well, we might actually see a factory or two coming out of this then. I'm not sure what the actual output is gonna be, but it's gonna be terrible. But still, we need to strengthen the national economy, which will give us, a minimum amount of factories. Then we're gonna get paying our debt, which will allow us to actually start repaying the debt. And then we're just gonna see. I would like to get the continuous debt payment as fast as possible, so I might just beeline for this one, trying to manage the debt. And then it means that pretty much every week we could buy 100 howitzers, which, not every week, but... Oh no, actually it lowers it by week, and this one has a 30-day... Alright, so we could basically buy every 30 days equipment and howitzers, which, alright, that makes sense. We can buy some guns. There's also a question, peace with German Empire. It's also a question, do they spawn these for us as a contract, or is this taken from their stockpile? Because then we basically hurt our own ally by sucking, the blood out of them. But we'll see. So that's the plan. But if you have suggestions, I'd also like to hear your suggestions about the sale of Israel. I might actually put this to vote. But still, voice your opinions, because this is gonna be a crazy thing to do. Now, it's not the only problem, unfortunately, that we have. It's just the first one and the most palpable one. But we also have the sick man of Europe, which lowers our political gain, construction speed, production efficiency cap, and efficiency growth. So not only, oh my god, not only do we have a 30% from the LV difficulty, but additional 10% from sick man of Europe. So our production efficiency is at 10% now. I didn't even notice that. It's so low. All right. Well, cool. That's another modifier. Okay, we get Harbi officers, max planning plus 10%, and daily command power gain plus 5%. The reactionaries can stab us in the back at any moment. In the meantime, they oppress the army with political struggle. We need to stop them and to protect the achievements of the Young Turk Revolution. And this one says, the fading Ottoman Empire experienced major political and economic shock in recent decades. Losing its influence on the distant regions of the country and sinking into debt, the empire received the insulating nickname... insulting nickname, the sick man of Europe. Alright, then there's this one, which is another fun one, the army of a bygone era. Latest reorganization didn't increase combat effectiveness and reliability of our army. We still use the impractical blue uniform, the legacy of the former glory of the Imperial Army, but it is extremely risky to wear bright tunic on the battlefield. So, fleet coordination minus 15%, naval speed minus 5%, army experience gain, division experience gain, both minus 40%, division organization minus 20%, recruitable population minus 20%, division attack and defense minus 20%, training time plus 40%, accidents chance plus 50%, naval damage minus 10%, chance to score a critical hit minus 30%. So even our army is screwed. Then we get Sultan Mehmed V. Alright, that one is a positive one. Stability plus 15%. Improve relations, maintain cost minus 50. Ideology drift defense plus 50%. And political advisor cost plus 5. Diplomatic isolation. Improve relations, maintain cost plus 10%. And we cannot join factions. As proven from our recent wars, no great power is willing to ally with us. How long this isolation will last is uncertain, but the fact that we have to find some allies if we want to survive is unquestionable. And crippling illiteracy. Monthly population plus 15% and recruitable population factor additional 5%, but research speed minus 25% and factory output minus 10%. So pretty much our economy, we have no factories. When we have factories, they work way less efficiently, they have way less production, and even the research is just down in the dumps. So there's not a single thing that I would say we don't have a problem with. So again, we need to beeline through the economy one, but there's an entire chain here which actually helps you with the army, but not by much. The Erkani Harpia reforms give you a division attack plus 1% and division defense plus 1% and removes a little bit of the penalties. And then you can just work your way through these, like the uniform change, domestic weapon companies, then you get the military factories and so on. National Institute, which would give us a bonus to research, a 5% one. Then an army modernization, which unlocks some decision called army modernization. Purify army from foreigners or integrate foreign command. Oh, this one is actually not a bad one and would probably be well, yes, because we need help from Germany. European tactics warfare, and then you get a research slot at the end of it. But yeah, all of these just gives you like 1%. I don't know if there is even one that actually removes it. There's not, as it turns out. It's just get modified. So we get 1, 2. There's not even. Oh, these are even. Okay, 3, 4. 5% reduction in so even at the end of this tree, you probably still suffer like a 15% bonus penalty to the performance of your units. Jesus Christ! So it turns out we probably cannot even remove that. And then there is the naval one, which is also a sad one, but we'll get to that a little bit later. And here we have the political tree. I mean, the Ottomans have an awesome focus tree. But the issue with this mod, and I mean that's not an issue, but everything takes forever. So the aftermath of the 31st March incident takes 45 days, gives you a little bit of political power. And then we go with the Sultan, which is here. So we go with the legacy of the 4th Lancers. And again, you can see it's 45 days, 45 days, 45 days, and so on. And you have to make some choices here. Empowering the Sultan and Power of the Caliph gives you certain things, which are really nice, but they all cost a ton of time. So I'm not sure how to handle these, because we have malices left and right, and we need to get rid of them. And unfortunately, the issue with these is that they take time, and we don't really have time. We have problems. We do not have time. We do not have time to even do any of these any of these fully before we get into our first conflict, which comes in 1912, I think, and that's the war with Italy. So we either work on the economy, we'll have to alternate, I think. We'll need to get at least a couple of these Army of a Bygone Era, because the army experience is and the doctrines are gonna be super important for us, plus the research bonus for infantry weapons is just amazing. So yeah, looking at this, we'll probably beeline for the continuous debt payment. Try to get these ones done. Then we're gonna get the legacy and a couple of these ones, and then we'll just alternate between them. I guess that makes sense. That this is like the optimal route. But again, hit me up with your best ideas. Maybe there's something I'm missing here, because at least now you guys know why I'm so desperate when starting this, because it's gonna be a nightmarish, hellish landscape where we're the weakest of the Central Powers, and that's a lot to say when your ally is Austria-Hungary. Alright, now that we are intimately familiar with the horse of the sublime Ottoman state, I think it is time that we look a little bit at operations, and by that I mean production, technology, and a little bit even about the construction. To do that though, I think that first we need to look at our army. The reason for that is being we really won't have enough space, or any space for that matter, to introduce new concepts into our waning military force. I think we rather should focus on what we already have and trying to make it better so that we do not collapse entirely. So let's look at what kind of units we have. We have only 4 types. We have the Piade Timeni, Piade Alai, Sivari this would be Tuai, I think, and the pronunciation is a little bit weird with the Yamushega here, and Ashiret Sivari Timeni. When it comes to the infantry, the regular division is actually not all that bad. We got a unit consisting of 10 battalions of infantry and 1 unit of artillery, or a battalion of artillery, with a support engineering company. That's actually pretty good. Overall, when you look at the soft attack, defense, breakthrough, it's really not bad. And they even have a decent entrenchment capacity, so these are going to be core of our future army. Because there really is not that much that we would want here. I would definitely like a recon here, which would further increase the defense, which at this point is already very high. And we could even add some support artillery if it comes down to it. Because most of the soft attack here, I think like 1/3 of it, 1/3 of the soft attack comes from the artillery. Most of the defense, of course, comes from the infantry, but the engineering company gives a decent boost to defense as well, and it helps with the entrenchment, which will further boost the unit's performance. When it comes to Piade Alai, this, however, is just a horrifyingly poor unit. It's just 3 battalions of infantry with nothing apart from the defense. So these ones are just bad. This is not something that you want to field or have in combat. So I'm just gonna update the symbol so that we know how many we have. And when you look at it, you will see that we have 50 infantry divisions, of which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, that's actually not bad. 9 of those is these small units. So if we could just make sure that these ones are upgraded into a regular infantry, we have the manpower. We would need 6,390 infantry equipment. That's actually not bad. That's like 2 units or 2 purchases from Germany. The artillery is going to be much more of a problem, and the support equipment is going to be much more of a problem. Why I'm saying that is because, kind of interestingly, we can purchase German howitzers, but we cannot really purchase German artillery. And a howitzer, in this case, is a little bit of a different beast. While artillery gives you soft attack 10.5 and defense 6, a howitzer gives less defense but way more soft attack, 18.9. And you need only 24 of these. So it's kind of interesting to see that the game is actually suggesting that we use these heavier artillery pieces rather than the lighter ones. I would be expecting the game to give us more of the regular artillery. But we can easily fix that by creating an alternative unit with howitzers, which is going to slightly lower their defense, but we could make up for it by adding the cavalry recon. So this would be an alternate unit that would have a higher defense, higher soft attack, and even some hard attack. It would have less piercing, but that doesn't really bother us much at this point. And it would be a little bit more effective. So if we wanted to change the units into this, for each one we would need 24 howitzers, 1050 infantry equipment. So yeah, 3 units of infantry equipment and... okay, let's say 3 units of... or 3 shipments of howitzers, and we could turn the rest into these. So I kind of like this idea, apart from the fact that it would increase our depth by what? This is 9 and 3 is 6, so 15 additional percent. Jesus Christ. But it would, it would generally fix the situation that we have with our infantry and make us have 50 divisions of relatively good infantry, which is something that we could work with. When it comes to the cavalry, the situation is actually a little bit different. The Sivari Tulai is just 3 battalions of cavalry, meaning that these are pretty much worthless for any usage apart from a little bit of a, port defense against invasions or something like that. While the Ashirat Sivari Timeni, while having a military police, which in this case doesn't help us much, though it gives a decent amount of defense. Wow, 16. Kind of surprised about that. Infantry equipment 40 and support equipment 10. If we change it to engineering... okay, engineering still gives you more defense, and it gives you entrenchment as well. But it's generally better than the recon. The recon gives reconnaissance, of course. Interesting. Well, either way, these units we can use in some capacity as support, and they have much smaller combat width, which is amazing. So they can join even a combat that is, at the border of its combat width, and furthermore, they should be faster. Their speed is 5.6 kilometers, while you guys have 4. Yeah, so they'll be slightly faster. Still, I'm not really sure what we're gonna do with the cavalry, because we got 13 of those. And yeah, all of these... only 4 of them are actually useful in any regard. I might just turn all of them into... hold on, could we just select you like this? If we wanted to... alright, what? I'm doing this wrong. So if we wanted to select all of you... oh snap, I'm doing it wrong. God damn it, I should have done it this way. It would have been easier instead of trying to be smart about it. So if we wanted to turn you into regular... let's call it irregular cavalry. Alright, so we're looking down at support equipment and infantry equipment insufficiencies. Alright. We can handle the infantry equipment. But what I'm thinking is we will definitely need to produce support equipment and artillery pieces, because we can get the howitzers and we can get the infantry equipment, but we really cannot get the artillery for some reason, and we cannot get the support equipment. It's kind of interesting when you think about how many trains do we have. I didn't really investigate that. So we got 112 convoys. And we got 26 trains. We need 26 and we got 52 in stockpile. Alright, so that's actually pretty good. So no need to produce trains at this point. But we will definitely need to start producing these two, because that's what we cannot get. And I might even go as far as to 3.54 units per month. I mean, that is literally just abysmal. Like, alright, 1.54 per week. Alright, that's better. 1.63 per week, that's better. But that's really not gonna... Alternatively, we could just say screw it and try to reform everyone into using howitzers. Together with... But that would mean that we are... I mean, the goal should be to remove the Ottoman debt. It shouldn't be to increase it. As the issue that I'm facing here. Again, I'll appreciate any kind of comments in regards to this. Let's just keep it like this for now, because, you know, I don't think that we will ever avoid using regular artillery, so let's just keep it like this. We can buy basic infantry equipment, so, you know, this literally leads us down the immediate path where we need to just boost our industry. We have a couple of options here to go with. This might be good, but that's not something that we need right now. Alright, so the early machine tools are absolutely necessary because they are immediately going to give us 50% extra production. So let's get those. Interestingly, we do have the electronic engineering at this point, so there's no need for us to do anything else. We could get the magneto ignition, which would give us extra research speed. And we could get a daily breakthrough progress towards land warfare. It's actually something that I am not that familiar with when it comes to... I have the new DLC done, or downloaded and used. That's, you know, dealing with secret projects and everything, so we'll have to figure out how this works. Fire projects available. Super heavy howitzer. Cruiser, submarine, torpedo cruiser. Ah, okay. So you basically need military engineering vehicle, super heavy railgun, stronghold network, heavy armored car, super heavy artillery. Oh, that's not bad. Alright, so we would need basically to generate stuff here for that, and we cannot see the rest. Alright, well, getting this might be a good idea, because I mean it helps with research anyway. Is there anything better that we can get? We don't really need construction, but I mean I definitely don't need the double base propellant at this point. And excavation 1 could be good. But it's not gonna give us much. Stainless steel. How many resources are we producing? We're extracting 14 oil, 69 steel, and 344. So we would get extra 30 chromium, extra 7 steel. Alright, I think that considering we're producing this much, getting excavation is definitely in our best interest, because that means factories, and I guess construction, because we do have support weapons and we have on the up-to-date infantry weapon. Early grenades, 19 more weapons. I think we're gonna hold off on that. Pioneers. What do you do? Pioneers are this is a new support company that wasn't here before. Pioneers are talented engineers adept at solidifying beachheads, general engineering projects, and consolidated gains. Can I see the difference between pioneers and engineers? Breakthrough, entrenchment, so it's the same organization, defense. Alright, so everything is the same pretty much, except you guys give a bonus. Okay, so these are basically marines. Attack and defense when it comes to fort movement, attack, and defense rivers. Attack, defense, and movement marshes. Interesting. So they give more specialized bonus. Alright, we don't need that. We definitely could benefit from a field hospital though. That's going to be something that we would definitely need. And for that we need a truck. And the truck is based on the magneto ignition. Alright, so I guess that kind of settles it for us, because we need that one. We get a little bit of an engine, wheel suspension, truck design. Oh, okay. So they reworked the model so that you can actually design a truck and use it as a variant. Alright. Alright, I can get behind that, so that's interesting to see. Alright, so that deals with the military. Now when it comes to the navy, the situation is bad as well. I'm not gonna pretend like it's not, but it's slightly better and slightly more straightforward. So we have a couple of fleets here. We have the dreadnoughts, we have a couple of destroyers, we have some more dreadnoughts and cruisers. Most of these are just bad, downright bad, and would probably be a pretty quick casualty in any kind of conflict. When you look at our heavy, well, I mean, these are pre-dreadnoughts, so our pre-dreadnoughts, they don't have enough equipment, they don't have any secondary batteries, they don't have any firing, any, you know, they don't have anything, basically. That's what I'm trying to say here. Which we could reasonably improve, though, are the cruisers, because they do have some secondary fast-firing rapid guns. We could put them some secondary batteries. They still don't have any firing assist, but we could go like this. This is a fairly cheap upgrade. We cannot really do much with our heavy ships, is what I'm trying to say, but we can do a lot with cruisers, and even better, we can upgrade our destroyers. And these destroyers could effectively help us down the line. So if we give you guys more torpedo launchers and some light batteries, you have fire control? Didn't you have fire control? Oh yeah, you do have fire control, alright. And that would cost only 320 per ship and make it very nice and effective. So we could upgrade potentially all of our destroyers really quickly and enjoy it. The downside, though, we already have things being built. 4 destroyers are being constructed. They won't take too long, but unfortunately we have only 1 dockyard. Yes, only one dockyard. So any kind of things that we try with our navy are probably already, you know, dead. Yes, it's not gonna help us. We could go maybe with some naval doctrines here, but I don't think that they have. No, this is for an air base. Legacy of the Ottoman Navy. Increased ship production, increased naval. Yeah, alright, so here is the pretty much first naval dockyard that we would get free, but just look how far it is. Having a strong navy would really help us, because one of the things that we will, inadvertently face is an invasion from Italy into Tripolitania, so we could stop it on the scene. And we will eventually face the British, because they will control, especially if Italy joins the Entente, we are going to face their navy here, basically putting us on the defensive, and they can land their units anywhere on the coast where they want to. So we'll have to heavily defend our ports, and basically that's it. So until our navy scores some good kills, and good kills mean until we get control at least of the Eastern Mediterranean Sea, which is very unlikely if we have to face the Royal Navy. I don't think that there's any actual chance that we will. Oh my god, yeah, look at that. There's just no chance. We have 41 ships. Italy has about double. And yeah. So not even on the sea will be pretty good. But at least we can maybe protect like one place, like, stop them from dropping in Gallipoli or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see also about the quality of the Italian Navy, because if we put all of our units together, which I'm gonna do right now, I think we might actually have a chance of at least doing some basic thing. So remember, what comes out of this is that the only thing that we can benefit from heavily is oil. We're already exporting most of it. So, that's not going to help us much. But at least we have some oil. That's more than some of the other nations can say. And we'll have to focus heavily on rearming and organizing our Ottoman armies. I mean, historically there were 4 Ottoman armies. There was one in the Balkans. There was one in the area of Constantinople and Western Anatolia. There was one located here that faced the Russians, and then there was one located down here, I think near Beirut. So there wasn't really any major army located in the positions of Tripoli or, wider Libya for that matter. So I'm just thinking that we're gonna try to put one of the armies over here and repel any kind of invasion from Italy, because you guys voted me into actually fighting them, which can easily end up with my units being encircled and destroyed there. Awesome. But we'll see. Again, too much pressure, too little time for anything reasonable to do in that time. I haven't really spoken about the Air Force because there really isn't much to say. We got 1, 2, 3 recon wings, one with 3 airpoints, one with 7 airpoints, and one with 2. And we have 6, 6 airships. Alright, well, let's not talk about the Air Force anymore. That's just depressing. Though, frankly speaking, it was the same as, I don't know, Austria-Hungary or anyone else has. Air Force wasn't really the domain of anyone at this time, so but we'll have to face the fact that we will not be able to build it up until very late, because we just don't have anything, and even if we had it with the production efficiency of 10%, we're not gonna make much out of it. Alright, so we dealt with research, we've dealt with construction. I mean, for this dirty state, let me just start building couple of factories in Constantinople and pretend like that's gonna happen anytime soon. Recruitment, we really don't want to do anything here because we don't have anything for that. And yeah, I have a feeling we might actually be done. I'm gonna wait for you guys' comments on the strategy regarding our next steps, but I really still think that we're going to start the first episode by going with the strengthening the national economy, because that one actually gives us something and might even trigger one factory to appear. And that's pretty much it. And then we're going to start the episode by moving around our troops. Thinking about that, I mean, yeah, what else is there to say? I mean, logistics is an entirely different nightmare. Yeah, we don't have proper supplies. We might build a couple of ports, but I mean, this is like the only place where we really have no supplies. That's interesting. And of course here. I mean, that's not a given, but yeah, fighting here is gonna be fun. I think we're gonna just base our defenses on retreating into the mountains and having the no, there's no mountains here. Alright. So these 2 provinces are going to be very vulnerable. But if we can hold the mountains, we'll basically be able to repel them for as long as we want. But the border with the with the Russian Empire is actually really wide. Huh. Alright, but this one is considered the mountains as well, for some reason. Man, this is going to be one hell of a trip. And again, defense in the hills is a little bit better than in plains. But it's not something to write home about. But again, let's burn this bridge and fall into the depths of the river from it when it comes down to it. Alright, I think I kind of cleared everything out. There really isn't much else to say. We're not going to even talk about the international market. Trade we covered, construction, production. Yeah, the mouses we looked at before. Yeah, we don't really have anyone here. We'll need to get a couple of these guys on board. But where the hell do you even start with that? Because I guess daily political power gain. Oh, this is good. Production efficiency cap. Right off the bat, I know that I want this guy. And right off the bat, I know that I can't because he's a socialist. So political power gain, stability. Oh, you help with democracy. That's not great. You could be good. Research speed. Is there anyone who's not a Democrat who would help with research speed? Yeah, we don't have that many options here. But looking at someone... Civilian factory construction speed is also pretty good. But efficiency... Oh, yes, you. You are what we want. Javid Bey. Production efficiency cap and efficiency growth. You are gonna be my first choice. Liberal economist. Surprised you're not really going for... Okay, so Javid Bey, Mahmoud Jalaluddin Bey, and then someone like... you could be good. Political power gain plus 10% would go a long way when we need to repay the debt. But even someone like... Yeah, Bahatin Bey might be good. Research speed could go a long way, but there were some better guys. Yeah, someone like Ahmed Tevfik Pasha. Political power plus 15%. Because that would... Yeah, okay. Ahmed Tevfik Pasha, Javid Bey, and Mahmoud Jalaluddin Bey. Those are going to be our choices, because they build upon what we have and not based on what we could have. So that makes sense. Alright, so let me just hear your opinions. What do you think about this? How would you address this? Any suggestions? Any observations? Any advice? I would like to hear, because we're going in this with a position that is already, severely weakened. Let's just say it that way. And we don't have much ahead of us in regards to growth for the next upcoming, at least a couple of years. Well, everybody else is just going to skyrocket and then run us over. But I mean, the good news is, if that happens, we're going straight up to Black Ice. And I'm having fun in playing Black Ice, and that's going to be, good. So we can look forward to that. So let's just get, let's just get this over quickly. Let's just surrender or never join the war. So that we can continue the better chapter of our history class. I'm just joking. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. And it's going to be a struggle, and I always enjoy a good struggle. I'm just sad that it probably will be as depressing as I feel it might be. So, see you in the next episode, where we are going to start the game.